Joining me on this Facebook Live. I'm Kwon. Don't forget, before we get started, you can always watch and listen to this live stream later throughout the day. You can do that through the InForum YouTube channel. If you didn't know, we do have one of those now. Or you can listen to it on your favorite podcast platform. Or you can always just go to inforum.com/podcasts and then click on InForum Minute to find these as well. All right, pointing ahead to things that are happening today, we know that a state judge is going to be hearing the first arguments from North Dakota's only abortion clinic as it is trying to push to block the state's trigger ban, which is set to take effect on August 26th. So the Red River Women's Clinic, we already know, has moved to Moorhead. But they filed that lawsuit right after the Supreme Court overturned Roe v. Wade. And the clinic is arguing that this trigger ban that's going to be in effect soon is going against the state constitution. So, of course, this ban, again, is set to take effect again on August 26th, unless the clinic gets an injunction in the lawsuit. So we'll keep tracking this for you, and we'll let you know what comes out of that. We also know today the man that's accused of stabbing someone during a fight at a Fargo gas station is going to go in front of a judge today. We're talking about 41-year-old Christopher Kane. He's facing several charges, including attempted murder, aggravated assault, refusal to halt, and possession of drug paraphernalia. If you're not familiar with what happened, is we know that Kane stabbed a man 6 times, and he was taken to the hospital by ambulance, and we know that he is in serious condition right now. So if he's convicted on all charges, he does face more than 20 years in prison. We also know that police right now are looking for a man who they say is connected to the body that was found in downtown Fargo on Sunday. This is something that we've talked about here on First News, really all of our newscasts here on WDAY, but they're looking for 58-year-old Roberto Garcia, who he's about 5'6", weighing at about 190 pounds. And he's wanted on manslaughter and aggravated assault charges. He does not have a permanent address, but this whole thing happened on Sunday morning at around 8:30 when that body was found just behind the Alaris building in downtown Fargo. And we had our photographer out there on scene, and he said that he saw some blood on the ground as well. Right now we're trying to learn a little bit more about the victim. I believe his name has been released already. Let me just find that for you really, really quick. Here's some detail from our partners at the Forum. We know that court documents say that he recklessly caused the death of Cirillo Contreras is the victim's name. So, we'll work to get more updates on this right now and see how he's doing, or see how the family is doing, and just more information, really. And we'll give you those updates as soon as we hear back. Also, right now, we know that a former part-time employee with the Fargo Public School District, there's a warrant out for her arrest right now. They're looking for 20-year-old Ruthie Carlson. She's accused of having a relationship with a 15-year-old student. So she's facing 5 felony charges, including gross sexual imposition and promoting sexual performance by a minor. We did confirm she worked for Ben Franklin Middle School for half of the school year last year, but then she got fired after she was in a social media video with a student. And then right now, also Fargo and West Fargo's fire departments are teaming up, and they're trying to keep the number of overdose deaths in Fargo from going up. So what they're doing is they're offering Narcan, which is the brand name of the emergency overdose medicine. And really, you can just go to their fire department, their station, and then just ask for it. Fargo is doing this as well. They're going to be passing them out from their trucks on calls to people who might have a history of addiction, or just people who just want it for themselves. So I thought that was kind of neat, 2 fire departments coming together to really help people who might be overdosing, things like that. We also know right now you can share your thoughts on which North Dakota laws you want to get rid of. I know that sounds weird, but Governor Doug Burgum actually issued this executive order, and it's creating a red tape reduction group. So it's made up of state employees, basically, who are going to be cutting laws that they think are no longer needed out of the state's books. So that group is going to make a final recommendation to change the laws as part of that Red Tape Reduction Act, and then the state legislature will consider that act in its next session next year. If you live in North Dakota, you can share your thoughts on this as well regarding what laws you think should be cut out, and you can just do that by going to governor.nd.gov. We also know candidates for Moorhead's 4 open city council seats are now locked in. So terms for wards 1 through 4 are up this year, leaving those spots open. We know several candidates are running for re-election, including incumbent Heather Niesemeyer in Ward 2, Deb White in Ward 3, Chuck Hendrickson in Ward 4. Now, the only council member, with a term expiring this year who is not running for re-election would be Shelley Dahlquist in Ward 1. We know current mayor Shelley Carlson is also seeking re-election. So if you are hoping to get to know these candidates a little bit better, read a little bit more in depth about them, you can do that just by clicking on this story on our website, InForum.com. Okay, today, exciting day for those of you in Grand Forks. Maybe you're even traveling there today. We know that vendors, artists, performers are going to be filling up downtown Grand Forks because the city's 7th annual street fair is kicking off today. So you can start making your way down there at 11 this morning, and you can find things like crafts, music, of course, fair food, probably the fan favorite there. That'll go until 6 tonight. It's going to reopen tomorrow from 9 in the morning, also to 6 at night. Okay, right now, federal authorities are offering a $10,000 reward for any information leading to the arrest of suspects who stole 100 guns from a store in South Dakota. This all happened sometime over the weekend, but we know that the suspect went into the building with force, stealing 100 guns and accessories. Officers tell us that they actually found one of the stolen guns during a traffic stop on the Cheyenne River Reservation. We know the ATF right now is leading this investigation. Anyone who has any information can contact the ATF. Okay, this I thought was in a way a no-brainer, but also I thought it was kind of interesting. We know healthcare workers have, obviously been under lots of stress with, the pandemic, and it seems like things are really never ending for them. But really, because of this pandemic, a new report on the mental health of 1,000 healthcare workers shows that 21% of doctors say they drink alcohol or take drugs more than once a day. 14% of them say that they've actually done that while on the job. And researchers of this study also are saying that these healthcare workers are suffering from things like PTSD, from experiencing the trauma during this pandemic. So I thought that was just kind of interesting statistics and findings, because we know that these healthcare workers have been struggling, and gosh, how can you blame them, right? But it's really sad to see that they are, or some of them could, point to other things and substances to help them cope with things like that. So, yeah. Okay, the FDA is saying that children are going to have access to these new COVID boosters by this fall. So, agency says that these updated boosters are going to protect people from the BA.5, 4, and 5 strains of the virus, and those should be available by next month. There's going to be doses for adults and children, but right now it's unclear what ages would be eligible for those boosters, or how long those kids would need to wait since their last booster to get these new shots. So we'll let you know if we hear back from the FDA on that. Okay, this one's kind of important to actually for Apple users. So anyone with an iPhone, MacBook, whatever, listen up, because right now it's recommending you to update your devices. Apple says that they found some operating system vulnerabilities that it says might have been actively exploited. I actually updated my phone during our show today just so that I wouldn't forget, but it's kind of scary stuff. So Apple says that these vulnerabilities actually give hackers the ability to take control of a device's operating system and then potentially infiltrate devices, meaning they could just literally completely take over your device, right? Affected products include all of Apple's handheld devices, again, things like your iPhone, maybe even an Apple Watch. I would update that too. And then you got things like iPods, maybe, if you still really actively use that. I do know people who religiously use that too, just for music. Of course, Mac computers are included in this, and then Apple's Safari browser as well. So right now, the Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency are urging users to update their devices as soon as possible. So if you have anything, from Apple, I would definitely recommend you get that update as soon as possible. Okay, Hot Mic with Dom Izzo, 9 to 11, WDAY Extra, InForum.com. Did you guys watch the draft yesterday, the mock draft. I heard it was very fun. But we know that football season is kicking off on WDAY as, you know, we kick off our Game of the Week coverage. But there's some changes this year because it's going to be Games of the Week, as we will be broadcasting 2 games every Friday instead of just 1 like usual. So I'm sure Dom will talk a little bit more about the football season starting today. And yeah, you can join him on Hot Mic 9 to 11, WDAY Extra, InForum.com. Also on InForum.com, we talked about this on First News this morning. You might have even caught it in our evening newscast last night. But there's been lots of talk with the Fargo School Board. And we know last week they made this decision to get rid of the, you know, this Pledge of Allegiance before they start their board meetings. Well, you know, we've told you they've gained lots of backlash locally, nationally, and that kind of prompted them to meet again, right? You know, they had that special meeting last night. So they decided to put that Pledge of Allegiance back into their meetings. And there's just so much more because police are now involved in this, you know, with all this backlash going on. If you missed the story on First News this morning and you'd like to read up on it, you can do that right now just by going to our website, InForum.com. Dave Olson did a really nice job with that story. Okay, also, don't forget, for just 99 cents a month for your first 3 months, you can get an all-access pass to InForum.com. All you need to do is go on InForum.com/subscribe. Okay, that wraps it up for me, I guess, for First News. But don't forget, we also have news at 4, 5, 6, 9, and 10 tonight. And then we have weekend coverage, especially when, you know, if you guys are early risers. We have Jenna Scott on First News Saturday and Sunday. Saturday goes from 7 to 8:30. Sunday we are on from 7 to 8. So hope you can join Jenna on the weekends, and then we'll be back here on Monday morning from 5 to 7. All right, everybody, have a great weekend. Stay safe, and yeah, we'll see you next week. Bye.